All right, here we go. Late night happy hour on a Tuesday, not just any Tuesday, election day Tuesday. And goddamn, man. Goddamn. Alex showed up. Supposed to have a cavalcade of stars checking in. Think they're all running scared. They're freaking out. Freaking out. It's a weird election night because, in spite of the fact what lots of people told folks out there following, CNN and Fox and whatever, ABC, CBS, MSNBC, like people were told the results and counting of the votes are going to go like well into the night, and it may take a couple of days. And some of the most important battleground states, it's going to take a while. So it's going to look, good and bad at different points. And tonight, we'll get into it later on. I think Von Tobel's going to join us, but he and I were both tracking the betting markets, Alex. It was crazy with the betting markets because Biden earlier today was like 240 in the middle of the day. There was a point where Trump went to minus 600 as a favorite. Then it went all the way back down. It went all the way back down to even. I mean, it's and the betting markets are just one part of it. It's been a crazy day.
I wanted to ask you about that, Cofield, because I was probably on a much smaller scale than you guys were, but I was seeing that the movement, and I was curious if there was any insight that you could give as to like what was happening behind the scenes, or what I don't know. I just assume in Vegas you hear stuff or you have some more insight. And I do want to talk about National Sandwich Day because it's totally getting overshadowed by this election. Are my levels low? I see Ari says my levels are low. I'm turning them up. There we go. How about now? Is that better?
Yep, it's better.
Okay. Anyway, I wanted to just know if you had any insight, any Vegas insider stuff that you could tell a commoner like myself.
Not really, because it's not Vegas insider stuff, because we can't take the bets here or anywhere in the United States on the elections. I mean, I get the notion, or the feeling I got was that the betting markets were sort of playing both sides depending on what kind of money was coming in. They were trying to max handle. So when money wasn't coming in on Biden, they'd drop the or they'd up the odds so that there was a big Biden plus and vice versa. So I think they were kind of playing the game throughout the day. I don't know that Trump was ever 600, and I never believed that Biden was, truly like minus 240, 220 even early in the day or the last couple of days. That was kind of crazy. So all I know is, like I said, I tracked the in-game betting on the presidential election. I didn't do anything on the senatorial races, but I took a shot on any juicy dog play I saw before the election, and we're seeing why that's, or how that's validated, because like right now we have no idea in 5 states because there are so many ballots still to be counted. There are some urban areas and cities that still have not been counted on day of. So this is going to go a while. And I think the most predictable thing, if I could have bet like my house on President Trump saying they're trying to rob us at some time before midnight Pacific, that was the strategy laid out months ago, because you knew in a state like Pennsylvania, where I think technically they're not allowed to start counting the mail-in ballots until election day. Like that's a crazy thing about the news coverage tonight, is you would see a state get to like 75% of the votes are in, and then it would just stop for hours. Like Pennsylvania has now been at like 65% for hours. Well, that's because right now there's about 4.4 million votes that have been counted. Now 66%, you're like, it's over. No, that means at 4.4, there's another 2.2 million votes to be counted. So we knew this was going to be a long process, and we knew kind of the game that was going to be set up with especially Pennsylvania and possibly Wisconsin, that you'd have a lead in one direction, and then all of a sudden it'd be like, I won. What's with all these ballots being counted late? So it's going to be interesting. And CNN, I saw earlier, was updating, close election, going to come down to Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Arizona. Like, we knew all this before the election. Georgia's a bit of a surprise. I'll say Georgia is a bit of a surprise, but things happened in Georgia today that, turned this into a situation where the votes are not going to be counted fully until probably tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we all knew this stuff. I feel like we all knew this stuff for the last couple months, right? That this was going to take so long. And still people are like, I can't believe it. How do we not have this figured out? Like we knew this was all coming. I feel like going into today, it was foolish to expect to know the results tonight. And even if there was a landslide of some kind, you still knew that we were probably going to have to wait till at least tomorrow. And I was listening to another great radio station, NPR, earlier tonight, and they were saying that Pennsylvania might not be done till the weekend. Like they sent everybody home. They're on like a schedule, and they're all counting them by hand, and it's their first year doing it this way. So it's like expect delays. So I don't know. I get over sort of the surprise. Like we might not know. It's like, no, we knew we weren't going to know. Everybody knew we weren't going to know. The playbook's out there.
Yeah, on the betting markets too. Keep in mind, I don't know that it takes much money in certain betting markets to really move the line back and forth. I mean, I saw some crazy numbers on what the UK had taken in, or what I think Betfair was one of the big ones that was claiming there was a ton of money. So, but it would have been fun today if you sprinkled cash here and there in small amounts and just tried to keep taking pluses as the line went back and forth. So, I will say. One of the most intriguing things out of this, and I saw the question posed earlier, and it's a pretty obvious one. Saw it posed earlier on social media. Does anyone fucking care what any polls say before the election ever again?
We got to throw those out,
right?
Like they mean nothing.
I mean, Michigan and Wisconsin constantly the last 15 days were between like Biden's up 8, Biden's up 14. Like what? And I don't know anyone who ever respond. Like, does anyone pick up their phone and participate in polls? I've never done it in my life. I will never do it. I would never tell you who I voted for, who I favor. I would never get in the game of also potentially dissuading people from voting and participating in polls. So the polls mean nothing. I said last night, yeah, Michigan and Wisconsin at plus 250. Yeah, let's do it. Like, I don't necessarily know that or knew, at the time that Trump was going to win, but I know it wasn't going to be fucking like a 10-point gap. It wasn't going to happen.
Hey, what's up with Adam Hill, by the way? Because I saw on your tweet you put out, Cofield. Yeah. I'm pulling it up here. You had a tweet, and was that him in like the USA wig, or what was that picture you tweeted out?
Yeah,
things were rough. Things were rough for Adam Hill. What happened?
He was watching at an election party, and that was he sent us a message. Here's John Von Tobel, because he was on a thread tonight behind the scenes. But he was on a thread with us, and I would say around 6 o'clock, he just tweeted, "I'm fucking devastated." So that might have been the moment when with the USA wig on and the flag that he was just slumped over the table. Might have been, right, John? You got that text, didn't you? Oh, no volume. All right. Oh, I think you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you are.
So I thought that picture was from the World Cup, like however many years ago, wasn't it?
Why would you ruin it? Yeah, of course it was. It was like
I bought it.
It was 6 years ago, but I love the picture so much. I have another one. I'll have to put that one out later. I think if they win, I'll they being Adam and his side. If Biden wins, I will put that picture out. But no, that was Adam at a World Cup watch party where he had the USA wig on, the flag, and he was just slumping over the table. Big fellow was just so disappointed.
I thought that was from tonight. I was so curious. I was like, because I don't, I'm kind of new to the crew here. I don't know Adam very well, and I was like, what was he? What kind of event was he at tonight? Why was he dressed like that? Why was he slumped like that?
Here's the thing. If you know him, you know he would never be at an event watching. He would never go to an election party. Right. Ever. Because he's
That's
in
what
consult.
I thought.
Yeah, no, he would be the worst at it. He couldn't do it. Is he home? Do you know, Steve? He's got to be home, like sitting there by himself, right?
I have no idea. I'll if he texts me or something, he wants to come in, he can come in. But I had zero expectations that he would be in. Again, the whole thing was set up that we would have minimum 3 states, if not 5, that would have counts going late into the night, if not later in the week. And without anything decided, he's going to be beside himself Like, he's not doing Cofield and Company tomorrow. I don't even know if he's doing it the rest of the week.
Yeah, I'm in tomorrow. What's it called? Well, and that's what I thought was amazing. Like, we were texting in that group chat, and like the whole thing with the betting market thing is really fascinating conversation too. But like, we were texting in the group chat, and I said, you know, what happened with Pennsylvania? And someone's like, they're not gonna look at the ballots until tomorrow. I'm like, that was reported like 3 hours ago. What are we talking about? Like, why are we? Yeah, like, we know that. Like, why are we getting so? And it's like it was him, but it's not just him. It was like Twitter, it was social media, the betting market, everything. Like, there was all these like extreme flows, and I was like, I thought this is what we were expecting.
What I'm saying.
Alex was asking earlier. Alex, ask JVT what you were saying about the betting markets and why they were swinging so crazy. Like, what's the method behind the madness there?
Yeah. I just wanted to know because I felt like the sort of big story out of tonight was the betting markets, or at least that's what I was seeing on Twitter, or what friends were talking about was like, oh my God, Trump's all of a sudden, like you said, Cofield, Trump's minus 600 now, Trump's minus 700 now. And I feel like I just assume I know how that works, but I was curious if you could give some insight as to what's causing those radical shifts. And is it money being bet, or is there like an algorithm that's determining how it's moving based on the money being bet, or what's going on there, JVT?
Well, I mean, there's money for sure, but there's also adjustments by the market too. Like, operators are moving those numbers themselves. I know that there's algorithms for sports betting. I don't know if there's algorithms for like the political market. I would assume there's not. I don't know. I'm not really good with that sort of stuff. I would assume that there's no real true algorithm you could use that would give you an accurate edge, like in a political market, because it's so weird and volatile. But yeah, it's like both, right? But I think it opens up an interesting conversation, right? Like Matt Brown, who Adam knows very well, because there's a conversation about like the accuracy and how sharp betting markets are. And he even tweeted out, like, in what market does something swing $6 and then back in 2 hours? Like, it's not really accurate. That's kind of just like going everywhere and swinging with the shift and the momentum and like the information that's available too. So I think it's both, but I think the more fascinating conversation is like how accurate these markets are. And like, it does seem like there is a guessing of sorts with this, at least with the political stuff. You know what I mean? Like, for example, early in the night, this is part of our text chain, the Florida thing, right? When it looked like Florida was swinging in Trump's favor, there was like this move in the market big time towards Trump. And I even texted you guys, was like, why are we overreacting? It's a state that Biden doesn't need, right? And that is regularly like was kind of leaning towards Trump anyway. Like, I just didn't really understand it. And I think that's what we're saying with this market. I think they don't really know what to do with it either.
I mean, I think a lot of the offshores, and by the way, I think some people are asking, hey, where can you bet it? It's all offshore. It's global.
Right.
You can't bet in the United States anywhere. I'm hoping by 2024, you can actually bet on the election or a presidential election or elections. Yeah, the Florida thing. I mean, I think the books are just playing on the emotion of the night. Like, it's like, oh, Florida, all these votes. What do they have? 25 electoral votes. Like, Biden had hopes, and now it's he's really underperformed. And like I don't think I ever saw Trump less than minus 160 in Florida. He was favored the whole time, and the fact that he won by more, that might be a little surprise, but it doesn't change the overall picture of pre-election projections and the chances for Biden.
Yeah, like and Steve, like, there's playing on emotion, but there's also setting yourself up to the point where Biden was minus 260 today at one point, and then as high, whatever it was, plus 6, whatever you got on the other side of 750. There's playing to the emotion, but then they're setting yourself up for like a really bad day. And like, to me, that looks like for the most part, it seems like some sort of guessing. Like, I even texted you guys at one point too, is like, if you're getting on Biden over 200 at this point, like, that's something to fire on, because it seems like this is going to be a lot closer than the numbers are indicating, that the market's indicating.
So yeah, let me ask you that. And this might be like a total noob Vegas betting rookie question, and you sort of answered this before, but like, who is overreacting and who's moving that line and who's making maybe a judgment call to put Biden at plus 200 all of a sudden when Florida goes in Trump's favor more than we expected?
Oh, I guess so like the odds makers will set that. Like I said, I don't know if they have an algorithm that does it. In sports betting and live betting, there's an algorithm that is the game flow and the situation is the number affects itself. So I don't know if there's one for political markets, but it's a combination of both.
I'll break in. I'll also say, I don't even know if it's algorithms. I think they're playing market because they're taking positions trying to win money. They're not like corporate books all around the country where they've got to kind of toe a certain line. I think they jacked up they jacked it up to Trump minus 600 because they're like, we need some Biden money. Like we've been getting Trump money all day long, so let's kind of make it ridiculous and get some Biden money in here. And keep in mind, most offshore books, like you're not opening your account and you're like, all right, $10,000, Biden 400. You're like they're not going to take that. So
right, but
small bets anyway.
Well, yeah, but I would also say like, what was their position though that they needed that much? Like they needed Biden money, like what that they would move to like Trump minus 700. You know, like if you needed Biden money, wouldn't you move it to like Trump minus 400? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what their handle was on the Trump side. I mean, it could have been crazy because it could have been steady betting. I mean, Trump was like someone was saying earlier. Someone could have big money on both sides at plus 350, 400. Trump never got to plus 400. Best you probably could have gotten Trump anytime the last couple of weeks, or even at like the most down points the last year or so during his run, maybe plus 240. That seems even high to me. I think it was probably today at plus 210. So I don't know. Enough of the betting numbers. Should we just talk about what we've seen and the news coverage? Man, I'm old, man. I watch a lot of news coverage over the years. I can't say I'm disappointed because I know it's all about getting ratings, but Alex, how much of the news coverage are you watching? Because there's so much dumbassery and declaring for certain states, and I just think they were trying to fan flames throughout the night.
Yeah, I hate it, man. I hate it. I feel like this isn't a hot take. This is like a lukewarm take or a reasonable take, but the cable news coverage of the election, the presidency, the 2016 election, and everything leading up to that, if you view this current state of affairs as a problem, which I do, I blame the cable news as much as cable
by the
news.
way, let's break in here. It was also network news because I watched CNN.
Sorry, I meant I'm blank. Yeah, network, cable, same thing.
I know, but like ABC was doing it. Like one of the other things that drives me fucking nuts is they'll have a panel like ABC's panel tonight. They're trying to appear to be balanced, but then what you get is like you've got Rahm Emanuel on ABC, who's a Democrat, former mayor of Chicago, and he's like, I just heard from the Democratic camp, blah, 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 blah. And then they're like, all right, Chris Christie's over here. Well, the Republican camp said, and like, is this any sort of objectivity? Like, what are we trying to do here? Why do we have people on the panel why do we have people on the panel who are clearly on one side or the other? Maybe people find it entertaining. I don't know.
Well, it goes. I think it's the same thing that we're seeing with sports media, where we're seeing a lack of journalists giving insight, and we're hearing a lot from former players. And people ask, well, why are ratings down in sports? I think that people are having a hard time. I think we're seeing like Paul Pierce get up there and give his take, and we're seeing Jalen Rose get up here and give his take. And there's a spectrum on whether those are good or bad. We're seeing the same thing with political stuff on cable and network news, and I don't think it's good for the viewer, and I think we all walk away less informed, but maybe entertained, but less informed because of it.
Now, I will disagree with this. News objectivity is not long gone. When you bring in characters who are reps of the Republican side or the Democratic side, the show becomes less objective, but I don't believe all the anchors have lost their objectivity. Believe me, there were plenty of anchors in the past, even the glory days, where they clearly voted. They would have a certain side they were on. Now, did they express opinions as much as some anchors will today? No. So things have changed that way. But someone mentioned it earlier, and it was probably Pro Martini Maker. Yeah, the editorial line has been kind of erased, blurred out, because, hey, they got to find a way to make money to stay alive. Yes, we need Morley Safer. For sure.
I like the guy with the touchscreen.
Oh, John King?
No, he's great.
I mean, they go to him. That he is a fucking machine.
I don't know who tweeted it out, but it was the game where Paul Pierce got wheeled out.
Yeah.
In the wheelchair. It was like CNN calling on John King to get back to the screen.
I know they're in this. They get in this zone where they're like, "We need John to fill. Go, John!" And then he just wipes out states, puts them back in.
Right.
That's
dude. Up and down. You're like, what's going on?
I hate to be like the back in my day kind of guy, but I just feel like it's not good for our brains to be processing that much information in screens and the things moving so fast constantly. And then, oh my God, it's minus 600 Trump and it's this, and look at this county, and I'm zooming and I'm clicking, and it's like, man, I think it's really bad for our tribal primitive brains. But it is good entertainment, and it sells advertising apparently.
Yeah, it's crazy too. Like if you listen to King, like because I've been watching just because I like what he's been doing, but like he really does just say the same thing over and over and over again. Like they just like repackage it as it goes along. But he does such a good job in like explaining it and breaking it all down. And like you want to be honest with you, what's more impressive to me is the fact that he never messes up on the screen. Like he never accidentally zooms in on something. He never accidentally like that's the most important. That's the most impressive part to me. I would never be able to do that.
How about he's been doing this long enough that he can go to every one of these states and just start rattling off like 17 different. I'm like, what?
Like the lady they broke to like one reporter and she like names a county and he just starts nodding. He's like ding 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 and he's like right there. And I'm like, and then he's like good old blah 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 county. You know what I mean? Had a coffee there one time. Like it was like what?
He's the Mel Kiper of election night because he can remember everything. Look, Treason ODB is trying to book us a guest. He's trying to get Adam Hill in. So he's really working hard on this one.
Well, Adam tweeted he was coming on like 2 minutes ago. He was like, if you want to see how I'm doing, check it out. But I don't see him.
I liked the commenter about 10 minutes ago who said I look like JVT after a 4-day bender. And I do feel like the looks tonight are similar, but I'm just like I'm 4 days in.
Dude, what is happening in the OC? What is happening in HB and Newport Beach? I swear to God, I just saw Tito Ortiz actually won elected office.
Yeah, Tito Ortiz won a council seat. Tito Ortiz won a city council seat in Huntington Beach, and the anti-mask restaurant owner won a council seat in Newport Beach. So
what was that guy's name?
Noah. He owns this restaurant, The Ark.
Oh God! Did you see the guy? Did you see the guy the other day in Huntington Beach? It's I have to look up the name of the place. An Italian place.
Yes, Basilicos. Yes.
Yeah, Basilicos. How's that going for him after Lisa Guerrero got him on video? And he's basically and he admitted he's like, yeah, I will not let my servers and my people in the back wear masks.
I'll say this, Cofield. So the Lisa Guerrero got that clip of him admitting that, but the local paper here, the Daily Pilot, which doesn't have huge circulation by any means, they've run 2 stories. I wouldn't say they were pro or anti. They were just like, hey, there's this restaurant here that refuses to serve you if you wear a mask, and they don't require anyone to wear a mask, and they're doing it in the name of civil liberties. They ran one probably back in like June, July, and they ran one recently, and people were just like, I even talked to someone, they're like, hey, did you see that Italian place? It looks pretty good. I'm like, that's not the point. The point isn't that it looks good. And then Lisa Guerrero went in there with a camera. They admitted it on camera. So I hope they get shut down, but they're not going to.
But they won't go out. No. They won't go out of business because of lack of support. He knows what he's doing. He'll get people rallying. He might make more money than months. Oh no! Look at the face. Oh no! I might have to get out. You guys will handle this. I'm going to watch in the background. Adam Hill is in. It's looking good, right, Adam? Five battleground states, a lot of votes to be counted. Biden could win all 5 states, 5-0.
Yeah, he could. Well, Steve's gone.
I guess. What's wrong? Why you so sad?
Believe me, I'm much better than I was 3 hours ago.
Wait, but I don't understand. Why are we so down?
Yeah, you texted us 4 hours ago. I'm fucking devastated. I was like, all right, there's still time.
Good.
Long night.
Well, it's weird because I believe what I said yesterday is going to still happen.
Which is
my prediction for the election was Biden would win the popular vote, Biden would win the Electoral College, and Trump will serve another term.
What? Like he's going to force his way into another term?
I still believe that.
Wait, you think he's going to force himself into another term?
He's about to go. He's actually about to start talking right now. We if we could take this live, we probably should. He's going to right now walk out and claim victory.
Right.
That's going to happen.
Okay.
And they're going to start trying to stop all the ballot counting because right now he's in the lead because they haven't counted all the votes.
Yeah.
Once they count all the votes, he will lose.
Right.
But he's going to serve another term.
Yeah, but how? What is the path?
I don't fucking know. I just know that he's going to serve another term.
No, I see point A. I see point B. I see point D. How do we get from B to D? Like, how do we get from that
What
to
are the
term?
what are the legal means in which he
Okay,
loses an election?
The votes have already been
stays?
the votes have already been cast, right? So like it's already done, and Biden has received more votes. I think it's pretty clear that's going to happen when everything's counted. But they're going to file motions in Pennsylvania to stop the counting of the ballots. They're not going to actually count the ballots that were cast. So he's going to win Pennsylvania that way. And I feel like maybe that is also going to happen in Wisconsin.
Right, but how? Like, what I'm not understanding is what is the legal way in which you just fight that and that doesn't happen? Like that is like that does not jive.
Of course it does. They already filed something in Pennsylvania to throw all the mail-in ballots out.
Right, I get that, but
I think they're going to win.
Right, but other aspects of them trying to either slow down and or get in the way of an election like this in terms of ballots and whatnot has been stifled, has it not?
The biggest thing, no, they've tried a couple places. It's worked a couple places. It hasn't worked a couple places. It's going to happen. I don't know how. I don't know what's going to come about. I think there's a couple of possibilities. One, I mean, we talked about the, talking, especially if it does finish 270, 268, which it looks like a very strong possibility right now. Like they're going to find some electors that are not bound, that are not legally bound to vote that way, that could just change their vote. It's happened. That's happened before. It's never changed the result of election. But if they only have to change one person, you think that's not going to happen?
We're gonna have a swing vote situation.
Yeah, wouldn't it be a swing vote?
The movie.
They'll just go do it in Senate. They're just going to do it.
I don't mean to, sound like I failed history class, but so who are the actual electors? Like who?
They're
who
voted. There some states assign them, some states vote them. Like there's a whole way to go about putting them in. But in the past, I believe there was one last election that flipped. I mean, they're not 29 states don't have them bound to vote for who the state votes for.
They have discretion. They're just like,
So
hey, actually.
And it's just like, yeah, you just go and you do what you're supposed to do, but there's nothing fucking stopping it. And by the way, the biggest thing about this presidency, and I said it before Trump took office, and we could go back and look at all these times that I said, I was like, the policies are going to be awful, and we know that, but the policies are policies, and they can be changed, and they can fix. What the biggest problem with his presidency is going to be, and was, and has been, and will be in his next term that he's going to serve, is the breaking down of norms, the breaking down of accepted standards that we practice, the breaking down of like the media is a bunch of liars. Like, do you know how stupid that is? Like, the media doesn't fucking lie. Like, they choose what to cover. Sure. Like they could cover a whole lot of different things, and they choose to cover certain things because that's what gets ratings, and it's a corporate media, and we got all that stuff. But like, do people understand what it takes, a mainstream media source, what it takes to actually get something published or on the air?
Right. I get that, Adam, but so to break in really quickly though, the breaking down of norms is one thing, right? Like getting a portion of the country to turn its back on media is one thing. Like getting the country to get behind essentially the breakdown of the core values of which the country is like built upon.
But John, he hasn't had to. His approval rating hasn't gone above 42%. Those people are going to stand by him no matter what, and he's done all these things that he's done. I mean, think about what happened with the Supreme Court of at the end of one term, like, oh no, we don't do that. That's not how we do things. It's an election year, we don't do it. Oh, it's our turn. Yeah, we're putting them fucking in there. And you're like, wait, what? No, I thought we just established that we don't do that anymore.
Right.
What I'm telling you is I don't fucking know how it's going to happen. I could have never told you that they were going to run a Supreme Court justice through in 22 days. Like, if you would have said, like, how are they going to do it? I don't know. Oh, they're just going to fucking do it?
Right, well, let me ask you.
How is he going to stay in office? I don't know. He's just going to fucking do it.
You and Alex are better than me at this. The running through of a Supreme Court, was that illegal or was that just really crappy to do?
Really shitty. Really fucking shitty.
Right. So, like, Alex,
breaking down of
norms.
From? Breaking down of norms, but not. No, I see what you're getting at, JVT. You're saying that was shitty, but it wasn't illegal. This would be potentially something.
What happened?
Up, like, this would be straight up dictatorship, like bullshit, and like that. That would be. This sounds corny. That would be the end of America. Like, I don't think this man has that much power.
I think he does, and the Senate, because the Senate has just stood by and done whatever the fuck they want. Like, okay, going back, and people can think what they want. Like, what happened in the last election? all the stuff that's accused is true. Like, go back and read the Mueller report on it. Like, it's true. There was collusion with a foreign power. That is illegal. And his supporter, whatever. Who cares? That's allowed now. Like, but the Supreme Court example you're talking about, like, this is what it was. It was like, it was on a battlefield, and the Democrats walked up to Republican, and they were like, all right, well, this is how it goes. I'm going to shoot you. We're on the battlefield. I'm going to kill you. And like, no, we're not actually killing. That's not how this is working. We're just gonna, this is what we're gonna do. Like, oh, okay, cool. And then the Republicans like, boom, you're dead now. Like, that's what it was. Like, no, it's not illegal. There's nothing against it. It was just like, hey, we've agreed we're not gonna kill each other. Okay, that's how we're gonna roll. Oh no, it's our turn. We're fucking killing you. And that's what it is. Like, they don't give a fuck about what is laws. They don't give a fuck about rules, norms, anything. He's a I haven't seen the speech yet. He's going to go out and claim victory. His people are going to say, yes, he won. And then they're going to go and stop it. I mean, we talked about that documentary in Miami the other day. Like, do people realize that's only 20 years ago?
Yeah, but how many votes was whatever they did?
It was 537 votes, and they stopped counting. Right. And basically what happened was the Democratic side was like, hey, listen, we're going to count all the votes, and whoever wins is going to win. And the Republicans like, no, we are fucking not. We're just going to win. We don't give a fuck who voted. We don't give a fuck what the rules are. We're just going to win. And that's what happened. And the Republicans on the documentary were laughing. They were like, yeah, we knew if we counted the votes, we were going to lose. We had to find another way. We had to fucking do something to make sure they didn't count those votes. And we did it. And then it's the same people that work for Trump now.
Yeah, John, the game plan was laid out.
People
in Dade and Palm Beach County. Dade had 10,000 votes that were never recounted, and Palm Beach had 19,000 votes in question. And the state was decided by 537.
No, I get all that. But now we're also talking about like multiple millions of votes. You're also talking about the fact that I would assume...
It's not. All you got to do is stop counting in two states.
But Adam, but I would also assume, though, right, that like this is going... Like multiple millions of votes like that, as I think who put it in there, Biden's not just going to be like, all right, like there's like a whole system for this,
right? But do you realize that for the last 4 years they've been putting all of their people into all the courts, so that now all they got to do is go and be like, hey, we think they should stop counting the votes. We're like, okay, 2 states. Yeah. It happens in 2 states. That's all it takes. And if they can go win court cases in 2 states, they could steal the election, no problem. Like, it's not going to be much of a problem. And I'm not even saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just telling you that there are little pathways where the results of the votes won't fucking matter. And that's what's going to happen.
Right, but so we finally pulled out of you what we were looking for, which was the how it was going to happen. So that's what I was looking for when I'm asking.
What I'm telling you is I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. What I'm telling you is there is some way that I haven't thought of that they're just going to go, that's what they're going to do. They're not going to just say, okay, you win.
Asteroid?
And that's why Trump has been saying for weeks and months, like whatever the results are on election night, we're going with that. Like, wait, well, shouldn't we count all the votes? Like, no, whatever it is, we're going with it. Like, he's been setting this up for months.
What was the quote the other day? I think when he got it, he landed in North Carolina or somewhere, and he said, as soon as election night's over, we're going in with our lawyers. Like, the plan's there. I think Adam, you just explained one way it could go down, but we know how many ways lawyers have to get shit done. Like, they've got plan A, B, C, D, E, F. I've heard no lies. I've heard no lies come out of your mouth, Adam Hill.
It's just, he's still trying to get him thrown out in Nevada too. You're right. I mean, he's trying it everywhere. And Nevada looks like, I haven't checked in the last 3 minutes. The votes have been looking pretty good in Nevada so far, which is good. And that means he'll just have to win 2. I mean, if I genuinely believe that Biden has won Georgia, and I don't think they're going to finish counting the votes. So we'll see.
You know what? Explain what happened in Georgia, because they're a lot slower than we thought. Because wasn't there a mysterious power issue in Gwinnett County early in the day? Right, and the governor there can work his magic. Remember, he was in a super tight race as Attorney General running for governor, and somehow he eked out that one.
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff you just don't think, like, you just don't have. And what I was trying to explain, and I know I'm just furious and just worked up, but like what I'm trying to explain is there's all these things that you just don't even understand could happen. Like the going back to the documentary in Florida, and I'm talking about this because I just watched it, and it was just it's so jarring, because even though you live through it and like, it's jarring to you, but essentially it was a complete toss up on way into the morning on election night. and Fox just decided, you know what, we're going to call it for Bush. And that ended up being kind of like the basis of, well, they called it on election night, so I guess, we're just going to kind of go with that and go with the assumption that he won. Well, the guy running, and I said cousin yesterday, I think it's the brother-in-law. The guy running the desk that made that call was like a Bush brother-in-law. He basically was like, yeah, okay. The Secretary of State of Florida was the campaign manager for the state of Florida. And you're just like, wait, how are elections run this way? And so, yeah, you're telling me that Georgia, with who they have in power there, isn't going to be like, yeah, we're not going to count the rest of these votes. Like, some shenanigans are going to take place.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. So when you were devastated, that's when the numbers swung big time in Trump's favor around 6:30.
Wait, say that again. I was looking at vote.
Well, you got 77% reporting. Swindling Susie Lee is up 49.9 on Big Dan Rodimer, fan of the fisticuffs. No, Adam got down in the dumps because Pennsylvania started looking really awful, and then it was almost like, did you kind of forget that there was only like 60% of the votes in, and
no, they're not going to count them.
Literally 2.2 million have not been counted yet.
No, but they're not going to count them.
They are going to count them. It's going to be at a state level, and Pennsylvania will insist on you're not fucking invalidating a third of our accepted votes.
We'll see.
Pennsylvania is going to fight like hell.
Sure. And where does it go from there? Once Pennsylvania wins and everything's good, hey, Pennsylvania's won it all. We're going to count the votes. Okay, where do we appeal it to? The Supreme Court that they've already said, hey, we need to get a new justice in there to decide the election for us? They already fucking said it. Like, and if you're thinking this is conspiracy theory or some other nonsense, go fucking watch the tape. He said we need to get her in now because she might have to decide the election. And so no matter what happens in any of these states, in any of these districts, you just appeal it to the Supreme Court. And then what happens? It's all fucking over. So, like, everybody's getting all excited about, the votes that are being counted. And, hey, look, it looks like by the time the votes are all counted, Biden is absolutely going to win this. We'll see.
What do you think our new country's name will be? I saw Jesus Land.
I'm all for breaking off the West Coast.
Bro, can we please break it off?
And by the way, this fucking moron who just comments dumb shit, you're fucking idiot. It's not a conspiracy. I just said it's a literal quote from your fucking president. It's a literal quote. So that's not a conspiracy theory of any kind.
I don't believe you.
Okay. Well, it's a
so Adam,
quote.
I totally misinterpreted what Cofield was saying about you before you came on. I thought he was implying that you were devastated because Trump was losing.
No,
but now well, when you came on tonight, I was like, whoa, I think differently of Adam. But no, now you're back to being cool in my book.
It needed to be a blowout. It needed to be. Like, this is a complete disaster.
I don't think it's a disaster.
Complete and total disaster.
You gotta have faith, brother. Faith in the U.S. of A.
Yeah.
I don't have faith. I actually really don't have faith. I don't have faith because even if there's no way to get from Adams A, B to point D, even if Biden wins, I think based on tonight, I've still lost faith. Like I feel like this was a referendum on democracy. This was a referendum on our country's values, on all kinds of things, and it was still too close to call in a lot of ways. So I've still lost a lot of faith. Yeah, what this guy said.
What's the whole balance of power looking like? How's that looking?
Not great.
No?
There's a shot, but it's not great.
What's going on in the key Senate race?
Haven't been good.
What's that?
Detail.
They're it's probably going to look around 50-50. But a couple of states that we thought were going to be close were just not close at all. Yeah, as he pointed out there, Purdue is probably going to win. Although we'll see where all these votes are coming from in Georgia. It was, and to answer that question, it was 5-4, but Roberts is very much a swing vote. And he tends to actually go with the law and not be
It's the
they absolutely have 5. The House is going to be Democrat, no question.
Okay.
Yeah, the Senate could be 50-50. There's a chance still, but I'm not optimistic, and I just think it's kind of going. Yeah, and to iRebel's answer, the fact that a QAnon supporter got elected to Congress is fucking gross.
Where do I track these things? Oh, here we go.
Is it attractive?
No. I was wondering. I'm wondering where I go track this. What am I looking for? The House, right?
Go to Real Clear Politics. That's what I use that a lot.
And the Senate is the one that's potentially up for grabs, correct?
Yeah, it's gonna be close to 50-50. We definitely got the Arizona seat. I would Marcus. I would not even disagree with that. I mean, there was definitely a time when Biden was absolutely a racist. I think he's evolved quite a bit on a lot, and I think Jody Ernst, the one, which was a fucking shit show. This
is a fucking murder. This wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Which state was that?
Iowa, which people thought Greenfield was a really good challenger. So the Kirk Ferentz effect.
Yeah.
Ooh, Maine's pretty tight, huh?
Well, it's getting tighter. I think Susan Collins is going to hold on, which really sucks because there was so much money poured into that. And by the way, if you saw my story in the RJ today, which I didn't want to promote, but about political donations, there was a lot of money poured in to Maine, like under a lot of cover from some very influential people in Nevada. They kind of formed like a fake grassroots group.
You think Bill Foley, how much to Maine? Over $100,000.
Well, he gave to. I don't want to get into. You can look it up. It's out there, but he gave to this political action committee who had some other very heavy hitters. That probably tells you maybe who I'm referring to. But it's supposed to sound like a grassroots organization that's like, just the people are rising up, but they got like $10 million from all just the massive players in politics. God, is that 42? I was hoping it was tighter than that now. Yeah, Susan Collins is going to win, which really sucks. Really sucks.
Trump winning the presidency is one thing. The Senate races where they could have flipped, not even being close. 84% is in Maine. They're not going to have enough to overturn this. But the fact that Susan Collins, who will never make up her fucking mind, even in the end, we know where she's going, still won and won pretty easily. Yowza.
Yeah. $250,000 to this grassroots organization from Bill Foley.
So COVID's not ending anytime soon.
What are you talking about? I thought it was around in the corner.
I'm waiting.
Oh my god, the whole family is heading up to the victory speech is about to start. By the way.
Oh, I gotta watch this.
Let me know what they say.
Should I turn it up loud enough so we can all hear it? Is that possible?
Probably not.
No, I was trying to put it up
here. Okay. I think they're piping in USA crowd noise.
Where's the party at?
It's in the East Room of the White House.
That makes sense. That
there actually is about 50 people there, so I guess they weren't pumping it in. There's, I'll give you one guess how many masks there are.
Low number.
Actually, the exit polls early in the day, I'm seeing some of the comments here were a little bit scary in that how few people actually cared about coronavirus and how many people actually gave us gave the country a positive rating.
Saw one was like at 49%.
Yeah, on handling the
conference I've ever had. Thank you. I appreciate it very much, and I want to thank the American people for their tremendous support. Millions and millions of people voted for us tonight. And a very sad group of people is trying to disenfranchise
Hey, Adam, turn yours up. Because the feed here
that
sucks.
group of people. Trying to disenfranchise that group of people, and we won't stand for it. We will not stand. I want to thank the First Lady, my entire family, and Vice President Pence, Mrs. Pence, for being with us all through this. And we were getting ready for a big celebration. We were winning everything, and all of a sudden it was just called off. The results tonight have been phenomenal, and we are getting ready. I mean, literally, we were just all set to get outside and just celebrate something that was so beautiful, so good, such a vote, such a success. The citizens of this country have come out in record numbers. This is a record. There's never been anything like it to support our incredible movement. We won states that we weren't expected to win. Florida, we didn't win it. We won it by a lot. And we won the great state of Ohio. We won Texas. We won Texas by 700,000 votes, and they don't even include it in the tabulations.
What the fuck is he talking about?
We have won Georgia.
No.
We're up by 2.5% or 117,000 votes with only 7% left. They're never going to catch us. They can't catch us. Likewise, we've clearly won North Carolina. We're up 1.4% or 77,000 votes with only approximately 5% left. They can't catch us. We also, if you look and you see Arizona, we have a lot of life in that. And somebody declared that it was a victory for, and maybe it will be. I mean, that's possible. But certainly there were a lot of votes out there that we could get because we're now just coming into what they call Trump territory. I don't know what you call it, but these were friendly Trump voters. And that could be overturned. The gentleman that called it, I watched tonight. He said, well, we think it's fairly unlikely that he could catch. Well, fairly unlikely. And we don't even need it. We don't need that. That was just a state that if we would have gotten it, it would have been nice, Arizona. But there's a possibility, maybe even a good possibility. In fact, since I saw that originally, it's been changed and the numbers have substantially come down just in a small amount of votes. So we want that obviously to stay in play. But most importantly, we're winning Pennsylvania by a tremendous amount. We're up 600. Think of this. We're up 690,000 votes in Pennsylvania. 600. These aren't even close. It's not like, oh, it's close. With 64% of the vote in, it's going to be almost impossible to catch. And we're coming into good Pennsylvania areas where they happen to like your president. I mean, so we'll probably expand that. We're winning Michigan, but I'll tell you, I looked at the numbers. I said, whoa. I said, wow, that's a lot. By almost 300,000 votes, and 65% of the vote is in. And we're winning Wisconsin. Yes, so we're winning. We don't need all of them. We need, because when you add Texas in, which wasn't added, I spoke with the really wonderful governor of Texas just a little while ago, Greg Abbott. He said, congratulations. He called me to congratulate me on winning Texas. I mean, we won Texas. I don't think they finished quite the tabulation, but there's no way. and it was almost complete, but he congratulated me. And he said, by the way, what's going on? I've never seen anything like this. Can I tell you what? Nobody has. So we won by 107,000 votes with 81% of the vote. It's Michigan. So when you take those 3 states in particular, and you take all of the others, I mean, we have so many, we had such a big night. You just take a look at all of these states that we've won tonight, and then you take a look at the kind of margins that we've won them by. And all of a sudden, it's not like we're up 12 votes and we have 60% left. We won states, and all of a sudden, I said, what happened to the election? It's off. And we have all these announcers saying, what happened? And then they said, oh, because you know what happened? They knew they couldn't win. So they said, let's go to court. And did I predict this, Newt? Did I say this? I've been saying this from the day I heard they were going to send out tens of millions of ballots. I said exactly, because either they were going to win, or if they didn't win, they'll take us to court. So Florida was a tremendous victory, 377,000. Texas, as we said, Ohio, Ohio, a tremendous state, a big state. I love Ohio. We won by 8.1%, 460, almost 500,000 votes. North Carolina, big victory with North Carolina. And so we won there. We lead by 76,000 votes with almost nothing left. And all of a sudden, everything just stopped. This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
There it is. Been waiting all day.
So our goal now is to ensure the integrity for the good of this nation. This is a very big moment. This is a major fraud in our nation. We want the law to be used in a proper manner. So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to
Who called that?
At 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list. Okay? It's a very sad moment. To me, this is a very sad moment. And we will win this. And as far as I'm concerned, we already have one. So I just want to.
Reluctant to step in, but duty bound to point out when he says we did win this election.
Again, there's really no sense in getting super upset because this was all predictable, and there's still 5 states that have to count their votes. But in terms of, like, if anyone thought outside of some numbers he was mentioning, which, by the way, when you're mentioning the numbers and percentages and you're not mentioning how many votes have yet to be counted, that's sort of a grand omission.
It's very telling that he
70
only wants
70, and he only wants Arizona to continue counting beyond night because he has a chance to make a comeback there, or it's his only chance to make a comeback. But the states where he could be usurped, he could be passed by in the votes. He's like, shut it down. So I mean, folks, this is like, I know Adam's getting really upset, and there's going to be
hold on, just so we're clear what he just said. I think they're going to the Supreme Court tonight. I think they're going to the Supreme Court right now to have the votes stopped counting.
Yeah,
like, I think they're going to get like a 2 a.m. ruling.
That's ridiculous.
Can they I mean, I shouldn't ask if they can do that.
Yes, of course they can.
They can figure out a way to do it all.
Wow.
So what do we do?
And by the way, I think Senate's going to, like, I just saw some new numbers. I think it's going to be 52-48 Republican, or even 53-47. Dude, I'm pretty sure. Isn't that what he just said? We don't want them counting until 4 a.m. We're going to the Supreme Court right now.
That's ridiculous. It's also funny how this party has gone from the states' rights party to the feds control everything. Like, wait, what the fuck happened? What
That
happened?
always gets me. That always gets me.
I thought all the states had rights to determine things. Now we want this overarching freaking multiple tentacle federal government going into every area of the country and making the call. Craziness.
I mean, I thought they'd wait till the votes were counted to go, but I guess just go now. Like they're gonna leave the White House and walk over to the Supreme Court.
Who knows?
Do they just live there and they just knock on the door?
Yeah.
Hey guys, meet me.
For
meet me over at the court.
For Left Coast Mike, I don't know why the comments aren't punching up now, but
I accidentally clicked the comment. Sorry.
All right, let's all control the comments.
No, I'm hands off.
I just got a text from a very, very conservative friend of mine who actually hates Trump. He's an actual conservative, and he said, "This is hilarious. Let's stop counting votes everywhere but Arizona." I'm like,
right?
Yeah.
Well,
it's like how even if you're a hardcore supporter, how do you not watch that and go, "Wait, okay, this is fucking stupid."
I think the argument is it's still election day on the West Coast. That's why.
It's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
also very interesting. We've got our president saying it's all over and the count is not all finished out here. Now we know most of the states here are going with the Democratic side, but I'm also I do want in the end, it's sad how irrelevant it is. I do want to see what the total popular vote is going to be, which means that you have to count all the votes in those Midwest and East states. So, yep, this is what we predicted, and I think his supporters are going to go fucking crazy, and they're gonna eat it up. This is the red meat. This is the red meat conspiracy. They're trying to steal the election. Like, cut it out.
Ben Shapiro, he's come out a couple times and said Trump's a lunatic, but he just tweeted out Trump has not won the election, and it's very dangerous to say otherwise. So
who's this?
Ben Shapiro, who's a pretty strong Trump supporter, although he has been critical of him at times.
Right, like so something like that, right? Like that's a one person. I get everything, all the support, all the crazy people. And again, I know what I'm about to say in today's day and age sounds a little crazy. But if you look at this situation logically, he's completely wrong, right?
By the way,
but
stop! Don't even say it.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, and it's one small example. But if one of his most ardent supporters on that side even come out after that speech and go, "He hasn't won it. It's dangerous." Like, I don't think he's the only person that thinks that on that side.
Well, but it's. The problem is we've gone and this is actually something I'm very fascinated by after post Trump. There is now kind of three parties. And the Republican Party is very small now, right at the moment. They'll have to, reconvene. But there is a Democratic Party, a Republican Party that's very small right now, and a Trump party.
What are they going to call it? Are they going to call them the Trumps?
Maybe.
No, it's something you're totally right. Like the MAGA party, something like that. That's so real.
So I was actually Adam, I've been getting more into politics lately and trying to get a little more educated, and that was my thought was after this election, if Trump had lost in any form or fashion, you as a Republican Party, what are you doing with your ideals and what you are, and that's the answer, right? It's you're not the Republican Party, you are. We are this, whatever it is, right? We're the Trump party, whatever you want to call it. And then there's the other, true conservative Republican Party. It's going to become the Whigs or whatever.
Well, and a lot of people are saying there are on the left, they're saying that speech right there tells you all you need to know. Trump lost, and he knows it. And I get that, and I think that's true. But the whole point is we're not going to count the ballot. That's and John earlier when he said how is this going to happen? And I said I don't know. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect we're going to the Supreme Court right now to stop counting votes. That wasn't on. I mean, I knew at some point they'd go to the Supreme Court. I thought it'd be 2 or 3 weeks from now. And to the multiple party thing, like I'm the person that just texted me. It's in a group text. I'm the only, I've said before, I'm basically a socialist, but I'm the only Democrat, I would say, in the group, and it's all Republicans that hate Trump. It's like some of my best friends, and they're all like right now, like where are we? Like, what is our, they're small government conservatives, fiscally conservative. They're actually pretty socially liberal, but they're like, where's our party? Like, what are we? What do we do after this? Like, we're definitely never going to vote for Trump or any of his minions, and whoever, if they try to run DJ TJ after whoever they try to run after this, Kimberly Guilfoyle, like that's not us. But like, we also have to join a party. Like, we're going to have any political power at all if we don't have a party.
Well, I'm just happy I put down money at 155 plus 155 on Trump for Pennsylvania, so I want my fucking money. By the way, I kind of knew what I was getting into, that the money will be in limbo for a while. I didn't even see what the sportsbook rules are. Like, they can't pay out any of this, right? Unless it's like a blowout state result. Anything that's close right now, they're not going to pay it out, or just because President Trump declared victory. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I think that's why you see it's not offered in Las Vegas.
Oh, Jesus. So I don't know who this guy is. Michael Gillette, best-selling author of Hollywood Park. I don't know what that is.
What's he
He
say?
tweeted out 3 days ago. He tweeted this out. I'm not breaking any news here, but here's how election night's going to go. If Trump holds Florida, North Carolina, and Georgia, which looks like he probably will, when we go to bed on November 3rd, he'll be ahead in Pennsylvania and Michigan by 10 to 15%. Early votes are counted last in these states and lean heavily Democratic.
Yep.
Trump will claim that counting these legal votes is cheating, and that's exactly what happened.
I was texting with you guys 4 hours ago. I think it was on CBS News. One of the political experts said in Wisconsin they're doing VDEO votes first, and then mail-in ballots will be second. So they haven't counted. It seems to be in reverse, right? Or you would do it all at the same time. And even that guy said it doesn't really make any sense how they're picking and choosing how they're counting and the order of how they're counting. But people need to know that they haven't counted the mail-in ballots. They counted VDEO first. So, and by the way, I have Wisconsin Trump plus 250. So,
Wow.
It's like I think the hard thing for me to process is some of that hypocrisy, like you said, Adam, when you said, or Steve, the states' rights party, or the true conservative, the small government. Like, it's not the ideals that I guess I just knew that I was taught or that I grew up with from the Republican Party or from conservatives or from the word conservative. Like, it's not those ideals anymore. But the people that I know that are Republican or conservative, some are like, whatever, Republicans who don't like Trump, but then others have just completely shifted into the MAGA hat wearing, flag waving, going to Trump rallies, Make America Great Again sticker on their truck. Like, they've shifted over the last 4 years. And I guess I just struggle with the hypocrisy of that. I don't know, I guess just to see people, that thought one way and then their brain shifted. I just don't know what to do.
and again, on the election night surprise of all this, as this Dan Pfeiffer says, it's worth remembering that the reason the vote is the counting is taking so long that in many of these states, Republicans block laws that would have allowed counting to start earlier, which is the case in Pennsylvania, which again suggests that it's not just Trump who was part of this game plan, that he had cooperation in certain areas to change the rules on things,
So, and you're absolutely right. And I mean, but that was all part of the strategy. They did that to set up this. Like, they knew this would happen, so they did those things and said, "Hey, don't count those till later, and then we'll have the lead on election day, and then we can shut it down." My friend Andreas Hale. If you guys don't follow Andreas, especially if you care about social issues, he's a combat sports writer, but also a hip hop blogger, and really, really good on social issues. At Andreas Hale, he just said, Trump, quote, "We want all the voting to stop. imagine the Falcons doing this when they had the 28-3 lead in the third quarter. Like, all right, we're good. We just want everything to stop right now.
Yeah, pause it.
It's
End
the
it.
same thing.
Call it.
It's turning off the Nintendo. You've got a lead, you turn it off.
100%.
And by the way, I'm not showing my age with the Nintendo reference. Like, that was the last time you could shut off a game and there wasn't saved like on a memory card.
Andreas is a good follow as an African American. He also had some interesting comments about just what had happened, earlier in the process, that he was kind of blown away by how much support Trump was getting. It's an eye opener.
Yeah, he said like, how imagine, I talked to him about this. I don't know if he ever tweeted this, but he's like, imagine how you feel like going through your life day to day and just trying to live your life, and half the country is supporting an outright racist. He's like, imagine waking up in that country every day. I was like, yeah, it fucking sucks.
Get over it.
Yeah, exactly.
No more racism. It's fixed.
But I guess CNN's Chiron is breaking news. Trump says he'll go to Supreme Court. Unknown why.
Unknown why.
Shit, man. It's gonna suck if, like, I mean, are people gonna take to the streets? Like, are we gonna see the civil unrest that I think Trump actually wants to see?
Yep.
So he 100% wants to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna see it though?
I mean,
it depends.
If what Adam says comes to fruition,
yeah,
I would assume so. I would
so.
say yes.
Bruce Arthur is a sports writer / writer in Canada. Mind your own business, buddy.
I like Bruce Arthur. I follow him on Twitter.
I know. I was kidding. I like him too. Obviously, I follow him. I'm getting his comments.
Well, he's like the one Canadian I follow. So.
I actually, and my friend Pat just said, can't accept any more texts from Canadian family. He does have a bunch of family in Canada, in Vancouver. I actually got a couple DMs from some Canadian friends of mine that were like, we are closing our borders and we are never opening them again. Oh my God. I can't.
Nice.
That just really, somebody just said this went from crazy to dark as fuck. Like, yeah, it's kind of not talking about our show, talking about the election and like just life. And yes, you know what? That is the highlight of today. So thank you for bringing that up. If you guys want to go to Oregon, because we might have to.
Oh yeah.
Legalize cocaine, mushrooms, meth, heroin, whatever you want. Like, let's go. I think we might have to.
I saw McKinnell early in the day was very fired up about it. He was throwing his support behind shrooms.
It's kind of shocking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw his tweet.
McKinnell being fired up.
Hey, strip clubs and shrooms, let's go. I'm gonna be up there ASAP.
Hey, that's your spot. Forgot college.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
man, no, this is dark. Like, I feel like
sucks, man.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid that Adam's pouring. And I'm like, are they going to the Supreme Court at 2:30? Is what JVT said true? Like, do they sleep in there? Like how I used to think my teacher slept in the classroom? Like, are there bunks in there and they're just ready to go?
Like, it's Amy, this is your room.
It's like an old school. It's an old school Vegas massage parlor where like the girls at work, they just sleep in the back, wait for a customer.
Supreme rub and
that's how it is.
Yeah, so New Jersey. I never trust New Jersey in terms of actually following through though on the will of the people, because it took forever to get the betting done, and now they've got recreational weed. It was like a 2-to-1 vote, so over 66% if you can do the math. So it'll help one of our friends. I hope good old Brittany can actually get back into the weed business where she belongs. So New Jersey stops fucking around and get the job done. So that'd be cool.
She doesn't need to work anymore. She's got that ring now.
No, she needs to work.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, she needs to work. Get out on the ground floor of the weed biz in New Jersey.
Oh, God.
Be a big wig. So what do you do the rest of the night, Adam? You just shut it down? Nothing's going to be accomplished overnight.
I'm going to Oregon. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true. I think he's going to the court.
All right.
I think he's calling them in the middle of the night, and they're going to start voting.
John, what do you think is going to happen? What's your bet here?
Well, I mean, Biden's going to win, right? So
plus 175. The Supreme Court makes a decision tonight, and everything. We wake up tomorrow morning, and Trump's the president.
Oh yeah, no, that's not going to happen tonight. I think.
By the way, just so we know, and I tweeted this, but
stop this. Rick Santorum did not say he's distressed about what just happened. Cut it out. now
Ben Shapiro.
Yeah,
Ben Shapiro and Rick Santorum, baby.
And again, to this, he can't do that.
No,
he does not give a fuck about laws or rules or norms or regulation, any of it. None of that shit matters. So when you're like, oh, you can't do that, like 1,000 things that he's done during his presidency, you're not allowed to do. He just does them.
Chris Christie just said what Trump did was concerning.
That's your guy, Cofield, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he is a lawyer, and I would hope after basically dealing with patient zero and having Trump breathe on him, and then his fat ass got COVID and he was struggling for a week, I would think he'd have a little more.
He lived. I can't believe he lived, bro.
Yeah. Well, I've been told being overweight has nothing to do with like real risk with COVID. So for us fat asses, like I don't want to get it, but it's not a death. Remember, mark this video when you play this in a week, and I'm dead.
Who told you that? Your deli slicer guy?
No, actually, another big fella I know who got it, and the doctor was telling him, he's like, it's a bit of a misnomer.
Well, I know who that is, but
yeah. That's what the doctor told him. I don't know. He's trying to build up his confidence.
You'll be fine.
It's funny because three of the real anti-COVID people we know, the hoaxers that are out there,
right?
That are friends of ours, use that person as an example and said, if that fucker doesn't die, nobody's gonna die.
Yeah,
yeah, and they're supposedly friends of his.
Yeah, fucked up, man.
Yeah,
they're good friends. When are you gonna? By the way, when are you gonna drop these assholes?
Probably soon.
All right.
My last remaining Trumper friends. Although one of them did say last night that he thinks Trump is a fucking idiot. He just likes the the judges and the stock market, and he's wealthy. So I actually don't really blame wealthy people for being Trump supporters.
Mm-hmm.
God, dude, I hate when I accidentally stumble upon Donald Trump Jr.'s Twitter. That shit's the worst.
It's going to be a crazy story when Ivanka's president in like 8 years.
Oh, my God.
See, that's the Trump party. That's real, though. That's like 100% real, Adam. I saw a commenter said this, but I think there are 4 parties. The far left one isn't fully formed yet. I think they're just starting to get there because they don't, Bernie was the guy. They don't have their full momentum. Then there's the Democrats, establishment Dems. Then there's the Republicans who have actual conservative values, small. And then there's the Trump people.
Apparently Santorum and Christie really are kind of going in on Trump right now.
By the way, we had someone earlier say that the Democrats roll over, and that is what happened in the year 2000, that 100%. They rolled over. They absolutely cannot roll over. And 2, that means being an asshole. That means matching President Trump with his games that he was just playing tonight. So this advice earlier in the day, Mitch, it's time to be an asshole. Sorry, brother. That's what it takes. You have to fight fire with fire.
Yep. And as soon as we get off this stream, I'm texting Mitch and I'm saying, fuck you. No more of this.
Sorry.
And by the way, again, going back to the documentary, it's what they said. The Republican operatives that were working for Bush were like, we went down there and we were like, we got to fight every fucking inch of this. And as soon as the Democrats were like, hey, let's just make sure all the votes are counted, we were like, we won, we've got them, because they're just going to play by the rules. And that's what always happens.
Yeah. There's no rules anymore. I mean, I've been joking about it, right? I mean, I think the last 3 weeks I kept bringing up examples to Justin Watkins. I'm like, there's no rules. Why do we have to fucking fight? It's That's the path that's been set. You fight everything. Income taxes, fuck them. Come after me. Let's go. Right? There are no rules anymore.
I think AP just basically was like, fuck you, Trump, because they just called Arizona officially for Biden. AP had not done that yet.
Right.
So I think they were like, okay, it's over.
I just really wonder how gnarly it's going to get, like, over the next few days.
It'll get gnarly. It's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
As Connor reiterates, wild to dark is right. It got real dark. got real dark. Don't be an asshole. Don't be an asshole. Curb your language, right, John? Don't be an asshole.
That's right.
Your brothers in arms.
As Gil the Thrill says, it's not about playing by the rules. It's about winning. And that's what the hypocrisy that I'm talking about is. A lot of these Trump people, they love talking about personal responsibility. They love talking about the Constitution. They carry a pocket Constitution in their pocket. But then at the end of the day, they just throw that out the window, and they're just like, but our guy won. He's a winner. Let me get my MAGA hat. Let me go to the Trump party where half the Beach Boys are playing. It's fucking embarrassing. And it's the shitty half of the Beach Boys.
And by the way, like what I was referencing earlier, like the breaking down of norms and standards and all that, like what just happened, and I'm still processing in my mind, what just happened should have been like one of the most outrageous things we've ever experienced.
Yes.
People should be like, what in the absolute fuck? Even his supporters should be, and we mentioned a couple of them are, but even his supporters should be like, holy shit, this is not acceptable, and like rising up to stop this. And it's like, okay, that's just what the president does. Like that's the damage that we've done. That's where the real issues are. Like all the policies, everything will be gone eventually. The Supreme Court's going to be fucking tough, but eventually that'll be, back to evened out too. But like the breaking down of like what is acceptable and what is insane, that's where,
But Adam, I'm curious. I mean, I would hope we don't go down this path, but I would assume that if you can force your way into a second term, then all the policies and everything you're talking about aren't ever going to change.
But after it's over, I mean, I guess he could force himself into a third. He's going to die.
I was going to say, to my point is, but to my point, like that's why I'm talking about like the slippery slope and not fighting this and everything like that. Like if you allow this to happen, then what is the argument to stop it from the next person from happening in that Trump party? He's going to die. His children can, like, obviously that's an extreme situation, but like it's also setting up all of that. So like if he's going to be able to force his way into a second term, like I would assume that's why I said that comment. Like then that's the end of everything. And that's why I would think that that's not going to happen.
Yeah. I don't know.
Tommy Tuberville won. You guys see that?
Yeah, that's fucking wonderful.
Such a shitty coach. Just like so average. It's so Alabama.
So average. Like, can barely win a game, and you're like, that's the guy we want.
Anti-welfare, paid by the state.
Nevada right now, 79% of the votes in. It's 550 to 523. Biden's up by 27,000 votes with 20% of the voting still to be counted.
Where did you see that?
ABC News updated as of 2 minutes ago. Actually, 55-46. It's 56 right now. So
the number, I just want to see the Clark County number because if he wins by 10 or more, it shouldn't be an issue.
Clark County is 75% in. He's up by 74,000 votes.
What's the percentage though?
54-44.
All right, so 10. That's the magic number. Winning by 10 in Clark County is the magic number for Nevada. Oh God.
Well, I'm just glad that Adam. I thought Adam was on the other team at the start of this night for some reason.
No.
Aaron, you know what? Aaron said this earlier, and I'm glad you popped it back up again. This is interesting. Like 80s Reagan, if he saw this happening in a country, Like, as Aaron says, seriously, we'd invade a country if they installed a president who lost the popular vote, like, or 3 presidents who lost the popular vote in 20 years. Like, you'd be like, there's something wrong there.
Right.
We have to fight for democracy.
We have to go fund some revolutionaries there. We got to sell coke on the streets so we can pay some revolutionaries there to overthrow that leader. That's we would 100% do that 30 years ago. What happened to that America?
Actually, Allie makes a good point. Alex clearly doesn't watch the show.
What do you mean?
When he's not on?
Me?
Yeah, like me just screaming. Like,
yeah, that's true. I don't. I only watch.
Basis.
That's fucked up, but that's true. You caught me. You caught me tonight.
That's Allie. That's not me.
No, I know, but I'm guilty. I'm guilty.
Well, why would you?
Adam's blowing you away tonight. You're shocked?
No, I just thought for some reason there was something you said at the beginning, Cofield, like the way you phrased it. I thought Adam was devastated because now Biden looked like he was surging. And I was like, oh, wait, Adam's a Trump guy. And it just kind of and everything in my mind shifted. And I was like, oh, that sucks. I'm going to have to look at him differently now. But I was thankfully wrong and everything's back to normal in my brain. So.
Well, you know, as Trump was giving the speech, the live number moved 50 points in his favor.
I saw that.
I saw you tweet that.
So they're just like that's what. So we were talking about grading that stuff, like
yeah,
full circle.
Like really?
Yeah.
So you're just gonna grade it on how the dude tells you it's graded? That makes no sense.
It's dropped a little bit now. It's down to from 230 to 210.
But you know what? That's what we were talking about earlier, Adam. That's why, I can very much make the argument. Like, I get the respect that betting markets certainly have. Political markets should not be respected that much. To move the number on a speech like that of a clearly fraudulent, like a clearly false speech, that's the market just grasping at straws.
That makes sense.
What happened?
There's bad numbers. It's fuck.
By the way, don't think I haven't thought about this. Like as a white 50-year-old.
Yeah.
Like I do look around.
Sure.
I'm like, fuck, man. Like, am I in trouble here? Am I getting my ass kicked? Just profiled? Look at this old white.
I think you can make the argument that
he's behind this Trump announcing he's the winner. Like all of a sudden,
I think you can make the argument that I look like a youthful Trump supporter as well.
You are white. Disheveled Alex looks like a heroin user, and
he doesn't look like he looks like he doesn't vote.
He looks like he doesn't vote. You're not even voting. Irresponsible citizen.
I look like I don't vote. And you 3 look like Trump supporters.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I have to wear a sport coat to work. Like, I'm definitely a target. Deservedly so.
For sure. No. You 3 for sure are in the, if I were stereotyping, you'd be mad.
You know what? If it happened to me, I would. I'd be like, I get it.
I think Adam looks more militia. Big guy, usually the facial hair, the eyebrows. If he grows out the facial hair, he's definitely, come on, you look like you're from Michigan. By the way, are your sisters or your cousins? I'm sorry, those sisters I met like 20 years ago. Are they militia?
They are the most hardcore Trump haters that you've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
In your family?
Yeah.
Around a bunch of militia people, aren't they from the Upper Peninsula?
The Upper Peninsula, which is basically, I mean, it's basically Klan country, and yeah, they are hardcore Trump haters.
Yeah, you never reacted. Someone asked earlier, what's your reaction to what's happening so far in Michigan? And you said it the last couple of days.
I know.
You're like, don't believe the polls. There are a lot of people in Michigan who are off the grid. Like they're not participating in polls. They're going to come out. They'll see the light of day to vote, and then they go back to plotting to whatever. If it's not the governor, then they're going to get someone at some point. But they're not answering the goddamn phone. Like, who are you voting for?
Yeah, I've never understood that. Like, just knowing what his base is made of, and then like the polls are like Biden's up. I'm like, are they polling like the people?
Yeah, do they know who to poll? Who are they talking to?
Right. Like, it's pretty clear that like he doesn't do well with like college educated like groups of people. And like that would generally be the people I would think that would skew a little heavier in terms of people who are willing to pick up the phone and answer and respond to surveys.
Wisconsin is a crushing defeat. It really is. It's a crushing defeat. That's not good at all. I know it has almost this is not a good correlation, but God Almighty, I hate the Big Ten.
I actually, there actually was.
I love that.
Numbers.
God, I hope Rutgers gets decent at football. Fucking gets to beat some of these schools.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you guys that too. I was surprised by Biden's tone with that speech. Sounded very confident for where the race was at.
Well, it's. I mean,
like I get the tact, right? I get the tact in terms of saying be patient, wait for the votes. I get that part of it. I did not get the overwhelming confidence in the states that weren't anywhere close to being decided.
I'm pretty sure if they count the vote, like he should win Georgia, he should win Wisconsin, he should win. I still think he should win Pennsylvania, but like he should win those states if they count. So I think that at the time he was just like, listen, I'm still pretty confident we're going to do this. And at the time they really hadn't started any counting in like Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. So I guess Wolf Blitzer must be having a meltdown. Everybody's talking about it on Twitter.
By the way, to Rick Muir, I'm seeing on AP, I'm seeing that 83%. No, check that. 81% of the votes are in Wisconsin, not 92. But who knows? You have one source, but the gap there is 117,000, a little over 116,000 votes.
But and like some of the stunning things, like, did you see that he was overperforming in places that had the worst rates of COVID deaths?
Yep.
Which is just stunning.
Right, but I would assume that the places with the worst rates of COVID deaths have a higher concentration of COVID hoaxers. Thus, they'd be in the same vein as voting for him. No, isn't that the logical leap?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you have a lower death rate in terms of COVID and cases and whatnot, I would assume that you are a general population that takes it seriously, thus believes that it is a threat to you. And then the others, right? Because it's funny, like when they were making the comparison throughout, like right when they were looking at the maps and the polls, and they were showing that the spots, at least in terms of the polls, were coinciding with places that had the worst COVID death rate. But I was like, well, I think you have the worst COVID death rate because you got a bunch of people who aren't wearing masks and are like, fuck that, am I right? Yeah, you know what I mean? So like they don't care that their fucking fellow men are dying. They're just like, fuck that, I don't want to wear a mask.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's 100% correct.
Pennsylvania numbers are really bad.
Yeah, I was just looking at. I saw that Truth from Duluth was talking about Milwaukee County. Milwaukee County still has 60% of the votes that need to be counted. Biden has a lead of roughly 53,000 votes. But that they're going to need help elsewhere. That's not going to make up a gap of 116 in the state.
It's going to be close. I saw if he performs at the same level that he's been performing, when they count all that, it'll make up 94% of the deficit. So wherever the other votes are coming from, you'd have to get within have the 6% more of the deficit to make up. So Wisconsin is certainly still in play. I think because we keep talking about Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. I absolutely think there's Georgia. He's going to win, but again, they have to count the votes. Right, and to Pat's point, 1.4 million mail-in votes, and I know people are excited about that, but right now he's down by like 700,000.
Right. So he's got a 2/3.
You'd have to take like 70% of those 1.4 million.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't know how true this is. They made it a very vague stat, so I mean, there is a chance, obviously, but I think it was Blitzer on the CNN broadcast at one point said that early votes had been skewing like 80-20 to Biden, like countrywide, or mail-in ballots. Mail-in votes. So Like it would be quite the blue wave there.
As Cofield chugs a White Claw.
Yeah. I might need to. Because somebody have a bottle of whiskey. John, do you have one I can just pick up from your house or something?
I got gin.
I think the stores are close.
Bottom line in all these states, if Biden were able to pull a comeback with the mail-in votes, the percentage is going to be inside of like 1.5 or 2, if not smaller. So that's absolute, recount, heavy dispute. So
Of course.
that this is going to go on for a while if Biden makes the comeback.
Pennsylvania governor just tweeted, "Let's be clear, this is a partisan attack on our elections, our votes, and our democracy. Our counties are working tirelessly to process votes quickly and as accurately as possible. We will have a fair election. We will count every vote until the Supreme Court says not to."
Could you? I mean, I can't say can you believe that because I believe it all now. But it's pretty unbelievable in a sense. It's not unbelievable in the sense that they laid it out. The plan's been laid out. It's just unbelievable in that it's just I just un-American. I don't know. It just something that seems like it happens elsewhere.
So what are you waiting for, Georgia? This Fulton and DeKalb counties?
Yeah. If they win, I, as you guys know, do not have an NFL team. Let's go Falcons. Actually, I'm going to Atlanta this month. I will definitely contribute to the economy there even more.
Wait, is John King, is he off?
He must be.
They let him leave at midnight?
They gotta let him fucking relax at some point.
By the way, John King was getting a lot of hype today.
Yeah.
No chance. He stinks. Steve Kornacki on MSNBC is by far the best at that.
Someone was raving earlier about the map. MSNBC map is better.
Oh, and he knows fucking everything. Knows like everything about every county in America. It's insane. That guy is nuts.
But is MSNBC on anymore, or they just pull the plug on the whole fucking thing? They're so devastated.
Yeah.
We're shutting down.
They also had they were streaming on Peacock, which was good. I had a couple of screens, and then I was going back and forth a little bit. The Fox coverage, and by the way, Republicans were hating Fox today too. Fox's coverage was awful, just awful.
Well, he went on. Trump went on this morning on Fox and Friends and started going into them. Was like, your coverage has been terrible. You're putting Democrats on all the time, and they were like, we have to be fair and balanced. And he just whatever. He's like, you guys are terrible now. You would have never done this 3 years ago.
Yeah. So, but no. What I was going to say though is, John King was getting a lot of hype, and I just don't think he's that good. But he also has to deal with shitty Wolf Blitzer, who is just god awful.
I was like, Wolf, can we back up, bro? Can you let him breathe for a second?
He also
every time, he's going through the whole spiel in the county, and he goes, wait, show me Ohio, and he's like, I'm going to show you in a second. I want to walk through this county really quickly, okay? He kept having to tell him, Wolf, shut the fuck up.
It's not even that. He was doing those things, which was completely obnoxious, but there's a weird thing. Every 4 years, when people start watching elections and they start freaking out, all right, for Nevada, because they were gonna put Ralston came on earlier. He's like, hey, listen, the first batch of votes that are gonna come out are very heavily Republican. Trump's gonna have a huge lead right away, and then it's gonna go away when they start adding some other votes in. So you understand that votes come in a weird way, and the early result, when the 2% are in, it means literally nothing. You don't know where they're from, but it means nothing. And John King will be talking, and he'll be like, well, here, we're waiting for this county. And then Wolf Blitzer will go, oh, no, wait, there's more votes in Ohio. And you're like, dude, yeah, I know. I know there is. They don't mean anything, though. It's the first batch.
There was at one point, obviously very early, Texas was blue. And Wolf's like, you got to like that if you're a Democrat. Look at it. It's blue. And John's he's like, dude, that we're at 2%. And he literally looks at the camera and he goes, "That's not going to happen."
Wow.
I'm down
Around
with
the room. Do you think so? Trump wins tonight, right, or whatever? He wins in a week. Do you think he's more shocked that he won the first time around or this time?
Wins
It's
legitimately.
He seemed really fucking despondent the last couple of days. Was like making up all the excuses, like, well, I'm getting screwed. I got screwed this way and that way and this way. Do you think he's more shocked that he won the first time around or this time?
This time, no question, because their internal polls actually had them winning last time. Their internal polls this time had them barely winning, but it was like they were kind of fixing them a little bit. Like in their internal polls, they thought they had no chance in Michigan, Wisconsin, or Minnesota, obviously, which they didn't, but they thought they had no chance in Michigan or Wisconsin.
Yep.
And so they were barely even going there. I mean, they did the last minute rally at Grand Rapids, but they barely went there because they didn't think they could win. Their polls said they couldn't. And I know a couple of people who saw their polls that were just like, yeah, they don't think they can win there. They think they can win the election, but they don't think they can win those states. And if you don't think you win those states, you know it's an uphill battle, especially earlier in the evening when you're like, well, all Biden has to do is win Michigan and Wisconsin, and he wins. And I'm sure he was like, I guess we're not going to win. So I think he's more surprised this time. Apparently, Chris Wallace from on Fox News just kind of went in on Trump too. He's been a pretty vocal opponent lately, though. It's not like that shocking. He said it's an extremely flammable situation, and the president just threw a match into it.
As always.
Yeah. That's what he
No
does.
surprises. No surprises.
You know what? If they want to start, you can just do now. If they want to stop counting electoral votes, they can do it now. How about that?
Yeah. It's done.
220 to 213 right now, Biden. Let's
Right.
go.
Like, wouldn't you, if you actually did that, wouldn't that be the rebuttal? That's like, all right, well, then if we're not going to finish the voting, then those states shouldn't count. Like, if we don't get 100% of the ballots in the states, those states don't count. There we go. We're final. Biden's our guy.
I agree with Gil that there were so many flaws with Hillary. She was so hated, obviously connected to an enemy of Republicans that he had a shot this time around. It was just his body language and the words he was saying the last couple of days. Like he was really down in the dumps.
Oh yeah, and by the way, I didn't answer. I would agree 100%. Like this time around, not the first time around. This would be the most surprising one. So can I ask you what if it would have been Biden right away instead of Hillary? Are we here today or no?
No, Biden would have won last time.
Biden would have won last time. I think almost anybody would have won last time, but
they just didn't take him seriously.
He's also you have to recognize he and his people are brilliant in terms of their talking points. They know what they're doing. They know how to inflame and hook people. It's fucking brilliant. Then they've programmed people, with 5 or 6 key talking points, and people love it. I was reading up to Steve like a couple of things, and I think Dan Levitar talked about it too. But if like the Cuban population in Florida, if you're just sitting here hearing the whole time, the other side are socialists. You're like, what? Like, nah, don't sign me up for that, man. And you just repeat it ad nauseum over and over and over and over and over again. And pretty soon you're going to react because that's not what I want.
Oh man, it's real. It's real because I'm deep in it in Orange County, and I hear people say things to me about Kamala Harris being a socialist and Biden's radical left policies, and I'm like, oh my God, you've been programmed. Like you're calling Joe Biden radical? Like, do you know anything about him? But it's worked. No, you're right, Steve. You're totally right, and it's that's what's crazy to see is people who maybe they're conservative or Republican, but they didn't give a shit about Trump or even politics outwardly 4 years ago. And now they got the MAGA hat on. Something about that sort of programming is, I think, the best word for it. Yeah, it's like almost a brainwashing. I guess that's kind of a loaded term, but something about that is just, I just really struggle to wrap my mind around it.
Yeah, we haven't really talked too much about the post office and the bullshit they're pulling, and they've pulled, and the that was more fear mongering, with the post office.
But it's fear mongering. But what they do really well, to give them credit, I mean, it's going to be backhanded credit, but What they do really well is take what they're actually doing and attack the other side for that.
Accusations that they're doing it. Yep.
Right. And they get out in front of it and they're like, okay, we're about to fix this election, so we're going to accuse the other side of fixing the election. Like, and then we're going to get everybody riled up, like, oh yeah, the Democrats are going to fix it, and then we're going to fix it, and we're going to be like, see, they tried to fix it, we didn't let them. Like, it's insane, but they do this on a lot of different issues, and it fucking works. It's really smart. Oh boy,
what?
Now North Carolina Senate race too close to call. Republican Tom Tillis comes out and claims victory.
Right.
So they're all just going to do it now. Now he's going to win, but I think it just set the precedent of, all right, this is what we're going to do.
Yep.
Dude, I'm going to call a press conference. I'm fucking president. How about that?
I won.
Just step out. Just be like, no. I come from a rich family. Let's go. I'll borrow Dad's money.
Oh my God, I'm sick.
Yep. Looks like a good bet. Tillis plus 105. Fuck. So you think it's going to be? Is it 53-47, Adam, in the end for the Senate?
Look, I think it could be 52-48, but I think it's going to be 53-47, which is not good.
But like a lot of the races were not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite bet was Florida minus 160, and that was not even close. And then who controls the Senate was, I think, 115 both ways. Okay.
It looks like House is going to pick up a lot of seats, which is good. But
I didn't bet the House.
I know. I'm just saying that's one good thing.
But if Trump wins, he got what he needs, right, with the Senate.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the super powerful tag team.
Yep. Let's wait. They'll get one more justice out and be 7-2 on the fucking court.
Do it.
Oh yeah.
Good times are ahead. All right. Well, obviously our mood's changed over the. We were trying to be somewhat positive about an hour and a half ago, but reality's starting to hit. So we'll close it out. Obviously, we'll be hitting on this tomorrow. I have no idea if Petro's co-hosting or not. I don't know what his feelings on this whole thing are. So, but we'll go at 9:00 tomorrow night with the podcast. 2:00 sports tomorrow, right, John? All sports,
right.
All sports. Although we will, I mean, I think we do have to deliver. There's going to be a lot of strong athlete takes on this. Oh boy. And I do want to see. I'm really curious to see what the voter turnout was. You know, we're not going to have all the numbers in by tomorrow, but what voter turnout was in different demographics, that's going to be fascinating as well. So we can see if a lot of the athletes actually, you know, as a whole, got people to come out and vote. So, anywho, all right, Alex, good job. I think you feel safe. The OC is still the OC, so that's good for you. You know what you're dealing with.
Did Tito win?
Tito won.
Jesus fucking Christ.
You know, it's like you finished.
He literally might be the dumbest person I've ever talked to.
Yep.
Yeah, he's on Huntington Beach City Council.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Just further cementing whatever reputation they had in your mind. It's real. It's double down on that. And the anti-mask restaurateur won in Newport. So yeah, the orange curtain is what we thought it was. We're bad. We know.
No, this is a massive victory. Massive victory. I can't even describe how massive. I'll just keep saying massive. It is. Trump could lose by the narrowest of margins in a week, and it's still a massive victory. Crushing victory.